Miguel.
I'm Libby. And I'm Meredith. And we would like to welcome you all to the 2026 Youth in Philanthropy Initiative Finals. Tonight, teachers, judges, charity representatives, and students are gathered to watch our presenters speak about some incredible organizations that are creating a real positive change in the Cowichan Valley.
Before we begin tonight's event, we ask that you please stand for a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that Brentwood College School resides on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish people, and we offer our sincere thanks and gratitude to the Malahat and Cowichan Nation. We value the opportunity to learn, live, and share educational experiences on this traditional territory. We recognize that we have a responsibility to not only respect the land on which we are privileged to reside, but to continue to grow our understanding of Indigenous histories and realities, and to shape and solidify the conversation around reconciliation. You may be seated. We'd also like to ask that you put your phones on silent for the duration of this event. Now, to explain a little bit about the process of YPI at Brentwood, we have Mr. Golden.
I prefer no mic, so I'll speak just off the cuff here without those things in front of me. So just on behalf of the teachers, to explain sort of what this thing is, if you're not sure what YPI is, it's an opportunity for students to get together in groups, and there's a whole bunch of local charities that need support. So students in the groups have to research the charities, they have to find out about them, they have to cold call them in a lot of cases to say, hey, listen, there's an interesting skill, call them you don't know, and find out about the charities. They actually go and visit, they arrange a visit, they go to the charities to learn more, they interview, they shoot video and pictures, and they come back and then they have a task before them, and that task is to make a pitch. So kind of like Dragon's Den, but with a little more empathy, perhaps. And they're making a pitch to have $5,000 donated to that charity. We started off with 21 groups. We're down to 5. So we've had a look at those groups as the teaching staff and selected the 5 you're going to see tonight as the finalists. So one of these groups is going to be very happy, and they'll actually get to present real money to a real charity that's going to do a lot of good locally. Now, part of the reason for doing this, and I do have my notes here, so some of the students worry about having their cue cards, but I've got mine with me as well. So we've done this 7 years in a row. It's been done for, I think, 20 or Mr. Wismer, 20, 21 years, I don't know. Long association with this organization. And I think in our current world, especially, things are turning more divisive, more inward looking, more me, looking out for me, my group, my country, etc. And this is an opportunity to sort of try to reverse that a little bit. We focus on 2 really big things, 2 things that come out of this. The first one is empathy. You need to understand, if you're going to make a pitch for support, you need to really understand what these charities do, who the people are that they serve, and understand it at a visceral level. Put yourself in the other person's shoes, and I think that's more important than anything these days, especially with the division in the world. And the second is empowerment. So we may see something, wow, that's unfortunate. I don't know what I can do about it. Well, here's a real tangible thing that our students can do. They go, they learn, they interview, they feel, they present, and then there is something that they can give back to the community. So we think that's a very, very, hopefully a very, very good lesson that plants a seed that stays with them for the rest of their lives. So one of the things we love as teachers is we hear the conversations. So some of the conversations are, how are we going to have people really feel and be convinced that we should support mental illness, addictions, homelessness, etc. And those are wonderful when you have a 13, 14, maybe 15-year-old thinking about that. It's amazing. So we love that stuff. So I want to thank my colleagues, because we are a team. Ms. Chung, Mr. Robinson, Ms. Stevens, Mr. Langer, Mrs. Langer, sorry. Mr. Langer supports Mrs. Langer. And most importantly, Mr. Wismer, who puts all of this together and has been doing for 6,000 or 7,000 years. He does a ton of work behind the scenes, makes the rest of us look good. Thank the judges. We've got a panel of judges at the back who are going to make that final decision. I was just setting up the desks in a big pod in the room over there so we can lock them in and soundproof and everything else. And really, we have to thank the students because they do a lot of hard work. They love some of it, they hate some of it, but what you'll see tonight is a culmination of that. All right, so I guess it's time to get down to business. Somebody's going to win tonight, one of the 5 groups, and you're going to be witness to that. So let's get started. You guys are up.
Thank you, Mr. Gould. YPI was a project unlike any other for us. It was truly empowering that we were able to create real change.
Last year, our local MP attended this event and spoke. However, Parliament is in session right now, so MP Jeff Kibble could not be here today. However, he was kind enough to make a quick video for us. Please turn your attention to the screen.
Good morning, Brentwood College, and thank you for the invite to participate in your youth philanthropy initiative. I think it's a really important event, and I'm very sorry that I can't be there, but I'm in Ottawa this week, and I will be returning to Vancouver Island next week, and I hope to see you then. In fact, I hope to see you then. But in the meantime, I spent love doing this job and representing our riding. So we'll do a little walk through the House of Commons, and you can have check out some of the sites on the floor here. And as I said, I will be there in April, and I look forward to an opportunity to meet you in person. In the meantime, I'm Jeff Kibble, Member of Parliament for Cowichan-Langford on beautiful Vancouver Island, and I've learned all about the Youth Philanthropy Initiative, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's great as the youth of our country are participating in this event. It's something that will help you connect with your community, meet and help lots of people across the island, and find causes that I think will be personally rewarding for you. I know that in my past I've contributed and continue to contribute to charities. It's something that makes our communities safer, healthier, and happier, and I think that's really important. It's part of serving your community, and that's a value that I certainly stand by. In my own life, I served Canada in the military for 28 years, so I suppose, in a way, it's a similar way of showing service. And in fact, now that I'm in Ottawa, I continue to serve Canada. But as far as charities go, in my life, I've always, as I said, supported charities such as United Way or the Salvation Army. In fact, at Christmas, I was at the Salvation Army in Langford, helping hand out gifts to deserving families that had children that would not normally be able to get gifts, and that was a very rewarding event. And I continue to support things like the veterans food banks. We have veterans that are facing challenges in a challenging time, and a hard time affording the basics for life. I think the charity that I'm most closely connected with is the Wounded Warrior Run BC. Both my wife Angel and I were 2 years running as team members. It's an event that runs the length of Vancouver Island and raises funds to support Operation Stress Injury or PTSD programs for veterans, and it's a truly fantastic program. And now that I'm in politics and working in Ottawa, I support them from afar and donate to their cause. It's a really wonderful charity that speaks to me. And in fact, the run will be going past Brentwood College on the 28th of February, and I'll be there cheering them along as I'm back on Vancouver Island. So what I do challenge you to do is find a charity that speaks to you, that something that you can get behind, that's important to you, something that you know will help your community, make your community safer and stronger, and help you connect with people, help you learn as you progress your journey through school and life. So thank you very much for letting me participate, and I look forward to seeing you soon when I'm back on the island. Take care.
Our MLA, Dana Lajeunesse, was hoping to be here as a guest judge, but unfortunately, in the wake of the Tumbler Bridge tragedy, he cannot be here tonight. Instead, Mr. Wismer will be reading a statement on his behalf.
as Miguel mentioned, this is from our member of the Legislative Assembly, Dana Lajeunesse, dated February 12th, so this morning as he heard the news that he wouldn't be coming today. To Brentwood students, staff, family, and community members, my sincere apologies for being unable to join you for your annual Youth and Philanthropy Initiative finals. Sadly, after the tragedy in Tumbler Ridge this week, my attention had to be shifted elsewhere. I hope to be able to join you for this event next year during a happier time. As a local MLA for Wanda Fuca Malahat, I serve some of the Cowichan Valley community alongside my colleague, Deb Toporowski, MLA. I feel lucky to serve a community which includes Brentwood, and am inspired by this interest in philanthropy that Brentwood students are being supported to develop as they grow up. I want to thank the students who got involved tonight to share important charities and the work they do. And I want to thank all the staff who helped make this night possible. In my role as a municipal councillor and now as MLA, I know how important local charities, organizations, and initiatives are for our community. These are some of the places that help address some of our biggest issues. They help people at their lowest, help animals at their most vulnerable, help the earth while some try to exploit it, and so much more. Getting involved with a charity or nonprofit can be truly life-changing in so many ways. I think, especially in light of this week's events, we are seeing the importance of groups that build and support small communities. In small communities like ours particularly, through both good and bad times. As a government, we work to support the important action being taken and work being done by charities and nonprofits in our communities through grants and funding opportunities. But we know charities always need more support, especially from within their own communities. That's why this event is so important, both for local charities to be highlighted and for one of them to get a great boost in their funding tonight. I encourage you to share more with my office and myself about the charities you are championing, and any other issues of importance to you as community members. We are always here to listen and help. Many thanks for inviting me to join you tonight, and all the best of wishes for the evening. With regards, Dana Lajeunesse, MLA, Wanda Fuca Malahat.
Thank you, Mr. Wismer. So, now, without further ado, we'd like to welcome Lois, Hugo, Elizabeth, and Hannah, who will be presenting the Clemenza.
Raise your hand if you know someone who has a disability. Now look around. Most of us here have met somebody who navigates life a little bit differently than us. Whether it's at a coffee shop or a peer you knew in school, we all know someone who navigates it a little bit differently. What if I told you that in the world there are over 1.3 billion people who navigate life with a significant disability? Over 3.8 million of these individuals are Canadian.
The statistics are alarming. 66% of these individuals have major unmet needs.
Additionally, while 30% of disabled Canadians struggle to maintain their jobs, another 740,000 are entirely unemployed.
Most heartbreakingly, over 800,000 Canadians suffering from disabilities are children under the age of 18.
They need help and they deserve better.
Hi, I'm Hannah,
I'm Lowen.
I'm Hugo.
and today we'll be discussing the social issue of adults, children, and seniors with developmental disabilities. Our charity, Clemenza, provides immense amount of support to people with developmental disabilities and their families throughout the Cowichan Valley. We will be sharing the social issue at different levels, the story of our charity, what you can do, and what our charity will do to your money.
Firstly, 1.2% of the world's population lives with intellectual disability. A 2021 study found that their subjects who suffer from disabilities were over 2.5 times more likely to experience suicidal planning than those without disabilities, a disturbing statistic. In 2022, over 45% of Canadians with disabilities reported at least one unmet need with regards to healthcare services. Finally, there is significant stigma surrounding the employment of disabled individuals, as employers may have misconceptions and fears and may deem hiring these people too risky. As well as this, many interviews can be overshadowed by social anxiety or struggles the person may face.
The issue of inclusion in Canada is a major one. With over 3.8 million disabled people nationally, you'd expect the infrastructure and economic systems to easily support them, but you'd be wrong. A majority of disabled individuals in Canada report inaccessible physical environments like the lack of ramps, automated doors, and accessible parking spaces. Not to mention the poor infrastructure across Canada like broken sidewalks, unplowed snow, and out-of-reach crossing lights makes daily life even more difficult for those affected. Additionally, the stigma against disabled individuals in the workplace makes finding and maintaining jobs nearly impossible for those affected. The employment rate for these individuals is less than 50%, and without a steady job and income, disabled individuals in Canada face homelessness, poor living conditions, and a lower quality of life in general. These issues present themselves in the stark difference between abled and disabled individuals when renting and owning properties. The cost of living is often higher and of a poor quality, with many places having mold, pests, and broken ventilation. Furthermore, healthcare professionals often ridicule and ignore disabled patients, as shown by the quotes on the screen, making their uphill battle with life even steeper and much more difficult.
In BC, 28% of the population has a disability, and as you can see, 62% of adults with a developmental disability are unemployed, and 45% of these adults are likely to develop mental health struggles. Throughout the province, support for people with developmental disabilities is not only a want, but is required. In addition to adults, children with developmental disabilities are in need for programs to support their development, including programs for speech, physical, and occupational therapy that can have long-lasting effects on a child's development if not met. Individuals with developmental disabilities in BC face many struggles. If not one thing, it's another. And charities and organizations like the Med Center that provide help for housing, therapy, and education can change these statistics.
In the Cowichan Valley, many adults with developmental disabilities aspire to work face-to-face but are hindered by systematic barriers. Many adults with disabilities would love to work but are often rejected. It's not because they aren't capable, it's because our community doesn't always have the right setup to support them. Imagine wanting to have a job and earn your own money, but every door is closed because you learn or move differently. That is the harsh local employment gap, and it unfortunately leads to many individuals feeling lonely or left out.
The Med Center was originally founded in 1957 by a small group of parents whose goal was to find an alternative to sending their children to an institution. In 1968, the early child services were introduced, including the preschool, daycare, and kindergarten. In the 1980s, the range of services grew, including the start of speech therapy, physiotherapy, supported employment, residencies, and respite programs. Furthermore, in the 1990s, the range of services continued to grow, showing how crucial this organization is to the valley. More recently, the Med Center has introduced their senior program and more dollar programs, like the bakery, the Mindful Mouth Club. The Med Center has grown from a small group of parents to the outstanding organization it is today.
The Clement Center has approximately 140 staff members who are enthusiastic and passionate about their jobs. These staff are also aided by the volunteers who kindly dedicate themselves and their time to this valuable cause. The Clement Center aids over 2,500 families a year and works with various unique cases.
The Clement Center Society is on a mission to bring hope, belonging, and independence to children and adults with developmental disabilities in the Cowichan Valley. Their vision is to build a community where every person is included, valued, and celebrated for who they are rather than being defined by their differences. This is guided by their 4 main values: equity, which means treating everyone with dignity; access, making sure help is always available when needed; inclusion, believing everyone belongs and no one should be left out; and finally, agency, which gives people the power to make their own choices.
This is Jay. He's Mr. Ganley and Ms. Napier's son. At 4 months old, Jay's parents became concerned as he wasn't meeting the typical milestones of a child his age. At 5 months old, Jay began to experience life-threatening seizures and was diagnosed with Miller-Dieker syndrome, a rare brain disorder that means that he will forever have the mental capacity of a 3 to 6 month old. Jay experiences significant physical challenges, but thankfully, the Clement Center stepped in and provided physiotherapy as well as occupational language, and speech therapy that were invaluable in his early development. Jay's family were comfortable leaving their son in the capable hands of the Clement Center, as their kind, hands-on approach and genuine compassion for their son were amazing. Today, Jay is 17 years old, and although he can't be left alone, he is happy as ever and enjoys swimming and walks on the beach. Jay's parents are forever grateful for all the unbelievable experiences that they and their son were able to have thanks to the ever-loving support of the Clement Center.
During our interview, 2 executives of the Clement Center told us about their child development program. This program is for kids like Jay who use Clement Center to find speech, occupational, and physiotherapy. The program is essential in helping these kids live full, active lives with its support. The issue is that over 300 of these kids are waitlisted, unable to get help because of the cost of running the therapy programs. It costs Clement Center over $3,000 per year per child to run these programs, leading to children in need waiting 6 or more months to get the help they deserve. The charity will use the grant money to not only help pay staff, but also to expand their location. Clement Center wants to create a new building specifically for kids with disabilities to grow and get therapy. Not a few rooms in the adult building, nor some extra space at a hospital. A place for these kids to go and call their own.
Typically, people with disabilities face social barriers and prejudice because others make assumptions instead of taking the time to listen. We must replace these judgments with empathy and a willingness to learn about our neighbors. A major issue from a global level down to the Cowichan Valley is an employment gap rooted in the false idea that people with disabilities can't produce high-quality work. We can change this by recognizing that different does not mean lesser and by focusing on a person's talents instead of their limitations. By shifting our behavior from making assumptions to creating opportunities, we help the Clement Center build a community where everyone has the dignity of a job and a place to belong.
We chose Clement Center because of their obvious love for what they do.
On our visit, the genuine connection between staff, volunteers, and beneficiaries was made apparent from the start. This gave us a pure drive to not only win the grant money, but also support the Clement Center.
Ultimately, we want to shine light on this social issue as a whole, but we also want to help the people making a change. So help us get the $5,000 for Clement Center to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us such an impactful story. Next up, please welcome Oliver, Rio, Kayla, and Zoe to present the Cowichan.
Poverty is plaguing our society worldwide. Imagine having to choose between paying your rent or buying groceries for you.
Imagine not having the option to provide fresh and healthy food for you and your family. We're often told that the solution is to plan ahead or meal prep, but that just isn't the case. Think about this. If you are working 2 minimum wage jobs, getting to and from work by bus, are you really going to have enough time to chop, cook, and clean?
When you're exhausted from a long shift, being healthy and eating clean isn't just a financial choice anymore, but rather a luxury of time and cost that many people in our community simply do not have.
My name is Zoe, and today we will be participating in the Youth and Philanthropy Initiative.
I'm Rio. I'm Oliver.
And my name is Kayla, and we're here to present to you the Cowichan Green community.
About 1 in 4 people in British Columbia don't have the basic needs to have 1 meal a day, let alone 3. They don't have the privilege to think about what they're going to have for their next meal, unlike us students. At Brentwood, we waste about 40 kilograms of food per day, which is enough to feed 365 people just from our waste. What if we could turn this around and use this food to feed the unprivileged people in the Cowichan region?
When thinking about the Cowichan Valley, you often don't think of malnourishment or struggle. Yet, these problems exist, and especially during times of inflation, rising costs, and limited access due to climate change, hunger is more prominent than ever.
Quick quiz. How much do you think this head of cauliflower cost at thrift place?
This single.
Maya. 6.
This single vegetable will cost you $7.99. Now, picture this. You only have $20 to last your entire week. You're very exhausted and super short on time. Would you spend half of your budget on the single vegetable, or would you buy more affordable processed foods?
In the Cowichan Valley, 17% of the population struggles with food insecurity. On top of this, 24% of the children struggle to get enough food per day. This makes it even harder for the struggling parents to feed their families. This is a local reality that reveals deeper problems.
Many of us believe that poverty is distant, that it only exists somewhere far away and disconnected from us. This cannot be further from the truth. In every corner of the world, families struggle to secure a single meal. As of today, global hunger is one of the most urgent worldwide issues. These millions of people go through every day struggling with dehydration and malnutrition while lacking necessities like clean water, food, and electricity.
People living in poverty face far greater challenges than we do on a daily basis, from acquiring stable employment to safe but affordable housing. At Brentwood, we are part of a privileged class, but just looking beyond our little bubble reveals the countless people in the Cowichan region who are struggling. This helps us see why the Cowichan Green community is so vital for Cowichan to prosper.
In the Cowichan Valley, one of the organizations that best addresses the prominent issue of hunger and malnutrition is the Cowichan Green community.
The Cowichan Green Community was established in 2004. It started as a community-based initiative to help build food security and promote environmental sustainability throughout the Cowichan region. They have continued to grow from a small organization into a significant and registered charity that now can help many individuals in the community who are struggling. The Cowichan Green Community provides a variety of programs focused on food education and programs focused beyond food and nutrition.
When we spoke to the co-directors of the foundation, Courtney and Adrian, they shared with us a very personal and touching story. An elderly woman called their office in a state of panic and fear. Her pension had been suddenly cut off and no longer had enough money for her necessities. She had gone 3 weeks without having a proper meal and was becoming scared for her health. The Cowichan Green community responded immediately, grabbing one of their pre-made emergency meals and making sure it reached her within the hour. It was an act of silent care, but it displayed their core values about their dedication and commitment to helping the community.
Yeah.
Because really, you can be who you want to be here, and no one is going to judge you, no one's going to criticize you. I think one of the main reasons why the kids will come here to start with, because there's food here, right? When they're food insecure, they will come and they will have that there, and then everything is just additional, right? Average about 7. It depends. Sometimes we have 12, 13. Sometimes we have 15. But it depends on what they're doing. Some of them have jobs. Some of them go to school. So some of them stop in maybe for an hour. Some stop in for 15 minutes to say hi. So one of our participants that came, and just a young guy, I gave him a bag, and you could tell by his body language. He didn't want to say, I'm homeless. He didn't have to. He said, I have no place to sleep. God, it melts your heart when you hear the people that come here and you're helping them in some way, right? It's in some way. It might be a small way, but it's a big way for them.
For many, the organization isn't simply just a place to stop by and get a quick bite, but a place where people can get a sense of community while still retrieving the nutrition that they need. This is how the Refresh Market helps. The market has a wide variety of fresh food accessible. It's a place where people can shop with dignity, accessing healthy food that otherwise might have gone to waste. This allows those in hard times to focus on paying their rent instead of food.
The Kin Park Youth Urban Farm is a hands-on educational farm where youth learns about sustainable agriculture and grow food and build confidence through outdoor working connection. On the other hand, the Farmers Market program helps seniors, low-income families, and pregnant individuals access healthy, locally grown food.
The Meals on Wheels is a major program for the Couch and Green community. It is a service that delivers hot, nutritious meals to the doorsteps of the elderly in need. It is also a space that allows the elderly to talk freely. There are also multiple other programs like the Beverly Street Food Hub, which is a space designed for growing, preparing, and sharing food. It connects the producers and the members to strengthen the community.
Fruit Save is a volunteer-run program which collects fruit that would go to waste from various farms. In addition, Kinsman Community Gardens is a garden with shared plots that brings the community together.
The organization was founded because a concerning number of people in the Cowichan Valley were going without food. They keep this going by operating on their core values, which are responsibility, commitment, collaboration, diversity, inclusion, environmental stewardship, and a positive approach to solving problems.
Their main goal is to build a space for everyone to feel safe in and for people in the community to have a place to go for food, education, and have a community. These values will represent how they will try to run the charity and treat people. In order to create such a future, the Cowichan community devotes itself to being inclusive and welcoming to all who seek support.
One of the main issues the charity faces is funding. If the Cowichan Green community were to receive $5,000, they intend to put towards their new food hub. This will not just affect the organization, but the entire community. The space will be used as a shared commercial kitchen and will support their Meals on Wheels program, startups, nonprofits, and many farmers. They have been giving to the community for over 20 years. This is not just a one-time meal, but an investment in a system that will support the community. The food hub will serve all parts of the community and families and individuals in need.
The food hub will also be a major advancement and accomplishment for the Cowichan Green community. The farmers who have improved produce, such as tomatoes, will be able to donate those tomatoes to the food hub, where the volunteers can then turn them into meals for people who don't have their needs met yet. By reducing food waste and increasing accessibility to food, the food hub simultaneously creates new opportunities and scenarios as a long-term investment within the organization.
Food insecurity is a real thing right here, right now, in the Cowichan Valley, and it is definitely not someone else's responsibility to fix.
What an organization like the Cowichan Green community shows us is that change doesn't have to be overcomplicating or overwhelming. It starts with a community, compassion, and the decision to act.
A $5,000 investment in the food hub isn't just money for a one-time act, but an investment for the future of the Cowichan region.
By supporting the Cowichan Green community, we are supporting a future where few people go hungry, less food goes to waste, and no one is forgotten.
Let's move beyond hunger and poverty together.
Thank you.
What an impactful charity. Thank you for sharing about it with us. Now, let's turn our attention to Growing Together, presented by Giselle, Aisha, Mika, and Jen.
I want everyone to close their eyes and imagine. You're still a high schooler doing the same things you're doing now. Going to school, playing sports, hanging out with your friends. But at the same time, you have a child of your own to take care of. My name is Zell.
My name is Aisha.
My name's Mika.
My name is Yona.
Being a parent is already hard enough. Your goal is to help your child grow, keep them safe, and have everything necessary for them to have a good life. But you're in high school. You're struggling to take care of your child due to insufficient funds and have few family members or friends supporting you along the way.
This is the sad reality of 13,000 women across Canada having to drop out of school to stay at home with their child, missing out on crucial education.
According to Statistics Canada, the
cost of a baby takes up around 200% of a family's set budget. Just in their first year alone, daycares can cost up to $950. They also have to take medication, accessories, food, and clothing in account, adding to the family's expenses as well. For a two-parent, middle-income family with 2 kids, they spend an average of $17,235 per year for one child.
Then we take into consideration that the average 16 to 24-year-old in Canada could earn around $17,300, meaning they would have to give off basically their entire annual salary just to support their child and may not have enough left to support themselves as well. How do you expect to give to your child when you're a child yourself?
The first idea someone would have is to send their kid to a daycare, but that's where another problem arises. Daycares are expensive. On average, $1,200. That's how much it costs for a parent to pay each month. Financially stable families may not think much of this, other than the fact that prices have drastically increased over the years, but for a teenager who makes little to no money,
They can't afford this every month, hence taking that option out for them. The solution though, non-profit daycares. Some of these daycares provide a $10 a day program, which saves a significant amount of money for the family.
Now this comes to our charity, Growing Together Child and Parent Society. Imrita, the head director, has had a past for working for daycares that were for-profit and saw that mostly they were only in it for the money. This discouraged her on the future of childcare, seeing the parents not being supported to the fullest extent. Parents who couldn't afford these expensive daycares had no other choice but to keep their kids at home, limiting their freedom to work. Imrita decided that she couldn't keep giving her time into a system that takes advantage of mothers in need.
That's when she found Growing Together, a daycare that forms caring relationships with parents and helps them take care of their child, like doing their laundry and keeping their medical documents. This makes Amrita feels like she's giving back to the community by providing these young parents with an opportunity to better their lives and their kids.
instead of paying a concerningly large amount of money for this daycare, people don't need to pay at all. Growing Together is designated for young parents who are in need of early care and learning for their kids. For a parent under the age of 20, full funding will be available to cover the costs of childcare, which includes providing nourishing meals, healthcare recommendations, and parental support.
Growing Together also has a partnership with Nourish Cowichan to bring in food items for the parents. If they don't have things they need in their own pantry, they will be able to stop by and pick up whatever they need and is there. They also partner with nearby thrift stores for clothing and toys to the children. They also have an opportunity for the parents to do their laundry there if they can't do it in their own homes. They can gain life skills in the center, as not only is the daycare helping their children, but they are also helping the team learn how to take care of their family.
The average day for the kids involves getting breakfast, getting time to play outside, and being served lunch and other snacks as well. The daycare also makes sure that families get to have valuable time with their children in the evenings, as family time is very crucial for early childhood development. One of Amrita's current goals for the daycare as well is to have it be made specifically for young parents and also have some spots open for social workers, as that has prevented having a lot of kids from being taken away. And now, here is a story being shared by Amrita herself about a young mother who had come to Growing Together, which had changed everything.
I'm the Executive Director at Growing Together Child and Parent Society, and today I'm going to tell you a story about a young parent that was just 15 years old when she started with us. When she first walked through the doors of Growing Together, she was carrying more than a diaper bag. She was carrying uncertainty, determination, and the quiet courage of a young parent learning how to navigate a brand new world. Her daughter was just an infant then, tiny, curious, and full of possibility. From those early days, Growing Together became more than a program. It became a place of growth for them both. Balancing parenthood while completing a high school diploma was not easy. There were early mornings, long days, and moments when the path ahead felt overwhelming. But she showed up consistently, wholeheartedly, and with resilience. She learned alongside her child, watching her take her first steps, say her first words, and form her first friendships, all within the nurturing environment of Growing Together. As the years passed, her confidence grew. She didn't just participate, she gave back. She began volunteering her time at Growing Together, supporting staff, helping other families, and becoming a familiar, trusted presence in the space that had once supported her through some of her most challenging moments. In giving back, she discovered something powerful, a passion for early childhood education and a deep appreciation for the impact educators have on young lives. Through her experiences, she realized that Growing Together had not only helped her child thrive, it had inspired her, watching educators guide, encourage, and uplift children and families planted a seed. She began to imagine herself in that way, becoming the kind of educator who could make a difference for others the way Growing Together had made a difference for her. Now, as her daughter prepares to take an exciting step into kindergarten this fall, this young parent celebrates milestones of her own. She has almost completed her high school diploma and is setting her sights on post-secondary education. Her goal is clear: to pursue early childhood education and build a career in a field she knows is vital, meaningful, and transformative.
Her story is one of perseverance, showing that when young parents are supported, they can do great things. And as her child steps confidently into the classroom, she steps forward too, ready to shape the future for other children and families, just as Growing Together once did.
At the beginning of this project, we didn't actually have a strong motivation to choose this charity. We were just doing it for the grade. But after we visited, we realized that it's a lot more than that. We saw how the center worked and how it's such a caring and supportive area, and made us think about how wonderful it would be to have been able to have that when we were younger. Knowing about childcare and the struggles young mothers face really motivated us to this charity.
We asked Marita what our charity would do if they won the $5,000. Her response was, any grants or donations or anything we get from the community goes right back into our program. None of the money goes into our pockets. For example, last year, from donations, we bought a gazebo for the infant toddler program.
And Rita then said this: we have a wish list for what we want to buy in the event that we have extra money. Like previously, we bought turf for the kids to play on instead of the hard ground. Everyone who works here has the mentality of, we're doing the right thing for the community, but how can we enrich it even further? So everything here is a work in progress. In simplest terms, any money that is donated automatically goes toward the center and to benefit the kids and parents who have been looking to Growing Together to provide excellent care.
Childcare is something every family deserves to have, but not everyone can afford it. Growing Together Child and Parent Society isn't just a daycare for the kids. It's a solution for the child and the parent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Growing Together. Next, I'd like to invite Julia, Luca, Leah, and Andrew to the stage to share with us a little bit about their
Alex is 10 years old. It's 10 a.m. on a Monday morning and his math teacher is explaining fractions, but he simply cannot hear her due to the sound of his stomach growling. His head is throbbing and his hands are shaking, and his head is on his desk as he simply has no energy. My name's Lucas.
My name is Leah.
My name is Julia.
And my name is Andrew.
We often speak of food insecurity, but the more honest word is inanition. Alex isn't bored. He's suffering from inanition. Now, let's compare that to our mornings here. We wake up, we walk to the dining hall, and we have a nice hot breakfast waiting for us. We don't have to worry about the cost. We don't have to worry about whether the food will be there or not.
As boarding students, we have the immense privilege of food security, one that allows us to focus on our grades, sports, and our futures. But for students like Alex in the Cowichan Valley, They unfortunately do not have access to security like us.
That is why we are here today, because we are fortunate enough to be offered this opportunity to help our community through Nourish Character to ensure no child has to choose between hunger over education.
When we look at the state of child hunger today, the numbers are staggering. According to UNICEF, over 180 million children worldwide are suffering from malnutrition, and roughly 1 in 3 children under the age of 5 are living in severe food poverty.
These children are surviving on diets so poor that it threatens their physical growth and cognitive development. For far too many, food insecurity is often fatal. Malnutrition is often the underlying cause of millions of deaths worldwide. But this poverty isn't just happening somewhere random in the world. Hunger exists quietly right here in our own community.
Did you know that 1 in 6 children live in poverty? Canada remains as the only G7 nation without a fully universal national food program. That is about 31% of British Columbia's food insecurity. That is unacceptable. The core issue we have in here in British Columbia is the education system. The education system provides books, shelter, and technology, which are all amazing factors, but fails to provide the fuel children need in order to use these resources.
This leaves the most essential part running up to them and their families, which is a lot of pressure. The issue at hand is that in a thriving town, food has become more of a privilege than a right, causing our population to be set back. This gap is felt deeply by the students in the Cowichan Valley and students in District 79, who arrive at school with empty stomachs and are unable to focus for the whole day.
This is where Nourish Cowichan steps in. They aren't just serving meals. They're ensuring that the children and their family in this community don't have to worry about hunger standing in the way to function and learn. For us, this issue is much more than just a statistic. This is what compelled us to represent Nourish Cowichan.
Before coming to Brentwood, I went to the elementary school situated right in front of Nourish Cowichan's operations. Growing up, oftentimes after school, me and my friends would walk over to the kitchen and offer a hand, helping with bagging the weekend food bags or help prepare meals. And being kids, we almost always asked for a snack for ourselves. Of course, they never denied any of us, as they stayed true to the welcoming open door policy. Back then, none of us knew what impact the charity had on our whole school district and how many children just like us were able to eat thanks to them. Looking back, I am incredibly grateful to have been able to play a small part in their goals and hope to give back for the important experience that they gave me.
I can't say firsthand, I know how it feels to struggle with getting food on the table, because I've been fortunate enough my entire life to have that security, but my mom's story says otherwise. When she was a child, she lived up in northern China up in the mountains, and her life was limited by the era and policies of that time. She had less to no modern technology, such as food, electricity, heat, clothes, and transportation. But the main thing that affected her as a child was she didn't get to eat foods that she liked. High foods with protein, like chicken, beef, and pork, were all foods that were limited to festival times. Even foods like vegetables, rice, and bread were foods to be savored. She remembers a time after the harvest when her and her mom went to someone else's field. They would see hundreds of lines of potato plants, and they spent all day and night crouched over until their hands turned purple to collect these potato plants. Her mom had a great life-saving experience. She would use these potato plants to create dishes that would last her family up to weeks. She tells me she still misses these times as she can never make these flavors for herself again.
But Nourish Cowichan is doing more than just providing meals. They are a comprehensive organization intertwined with many other programs. And at its core is the school food program, which provides breakfast, lunch, and dinner to many students in the district. They also offer the family weekend plan, which ensures no family goes hungry during the weekend.
With the extensiveness of the program, they aren't just nursing children, they're providing for the whole of the community. This entire operation is powered by the community kitchen and garden, which in itself is a community building program with volunteers that are the backbone of this charity. More importantly, they're fighting the root cause of food insecurity,
with their food security education aiming to remove the stigma and shame for families and helping to normalize school meals.
Currently, this program has a grant, but it covers less than half of what is needed to run it. A donation of $5,000 will essentially fund the entire program, making immediate and concrete impact. This organization relies entirely on donations and grants. There is no other steady source of funding. That means that every contribution directly affects what they're able to do for the kids that they serve. Most of the money goes straight towards the essentials, buying food supplies and feeding the children. When a school reaches out and asks for extra food requests because their students are in need, Nourish never says no. They take the requests, and with the resources they have at hand, they make it work, showing their incredible generosity, commitment, and grit.
Moreover, we actually spoke with one of the volunteers there, Alish Blackland. She was a former Brentwood graduate who graduated in the class of 1996. She shared with us that Nourish Couchin is often what keeps families from starvation. The immense help Nourish Couchin gives families offers help from stress on grocery bills and keeping their own kids healthy. Nourish Couchin helps families bit by bit to stand on their own 2 feet.
Alish emphasizes the importance of their open door policy, making sure no child is ever turned away or feels lesser than. For the families, this is more than just a simple handout. Nourish Couchin allows all to navigate through difficult times and situations without shame.
We are asking you to help us make this decision today. By awarding $5,000 grant to Nourish Couchin, it won't just be filling place, there'll be fueling potential. We have an opportunity to ensure that Alex and many other students in District 79 are able to hear their teacher's voice louder than their empty stomachs. So let's feed their bodies so they can feed their minds. Thank you for listening.
Now, please welcome our final group, Women Against Violence, presented by Michelle, Luca, Piper, and Hudson.
Picture this. It's a cold afternoon in the Cowichan Valley, and a woman is sitting in her car in a grocery store parking lot. She's scared, she's exhausted, and she's trying to decide what she should do next. She could go home to a place that isn't safe, or stay out here in the biting cold with her young kids asleep in the back seat.
Now, imagine this moment. Her candle of hope is flickering. All she wants is someone who can help, someone who can offer support. Situations like these don't just happen in the headlines. They happen here, often silently and unnoticed.
Raise your hand if you know a woman. Maybe a friend, family member, neighbor, classmate, or even just someone you've heard of who has been affected by domestic violence. Now take a look around. Do you see how many hands went up? The truth is, even if your hand stayed down, we all know someone. Because unfortunately, so many women suffer in silence.
Hi, we're Piper, Michelle, Hudson, and Luca, and we are standing here today to talk about the organization that is the beacon of hope in moments like these.
For many people, the only thing standing between them and the danger of violence and abuse is Cowichan Women Against Violence Society, also known as CWAVE.
Gender-based violence is an urgent and devastating problem. According to the United Nations, it affects 1 in every 3 women in the world. And even more concerning, most of these violence has been committed by an intimate partner whom the victim knew, trusted, and even lived with. Furthermore, 80% of gender-based violence case victims don't seek help from the police. Many survivors don't report these crimes because they are scared, ashamed, and worried that no one will believe them.
But violence like this doesn't just cause physical harm. It is detrimental to a person's life, impacting their physical health, mental health, confidence, and ability to function and have a sense of safety in their own homes. Furthermore, people who suffer violence at a very young age carry that violence for the rest of their lives.
A peer-reviewed study in the Journal of Affective Disorders reported that childhood exposure to violence is strongly associated with increased anxiety and depression amongst children and adolescents.
But this isn't just a distant problem. It happens silently and often unnoticed in every community, including ours. And in smaller communities like the Cowichan Valley, there are fewer shelters, fewer counselors, and fewer places to turn. And that is another reason why Cowichan Women Against Violence Society is so essential to our community.
Cowichan Against Violence, or C-WAVE, has been supporting people impacted by violence for more than 50 years. What started around the kitchen table has turned into a lifeline for so many people in the Cowichan area.
And though the name says Women Against Violence, C-WAVE has made it clear that they are ready to support any men, women, children, and youth in our community. Their mission is to create safety, healing, and prevention for the whole community.
Today, C-WAVE has grown from a handful of volunteers to more than 80 staff members, offering an umbrella of services.
The community-based victim service is often the first safe point of contact, helping survivors navigate the justice system and find emotional support. They have a transition house which provides 24-hour shelter, giving women and children a safe space to escape danger. This house was one of the first shelters in Canada to have a dedicated pet room, as leaving cherished pets behind at home was another factor. C-WAVES also offers long-term trauma counseling, youth programs, and even some animal-assisted therapies, helping people reconnect with their bodies and understand their emotions in a safe and non-judgmental way.
For children, the PEACE program provides specialized counseling, but with only 17 and a half hours funded a week and 40 children on the wait list, the need is far greater than the resources available. They also run Cedar Branches, a shelter home for women experiencing homelessness, and the Quililam, a second housing program that holds up to 32 women and children plus pets.
C-WAVE works closely with schools, police, indigenous communities, and other agencies to prevent violence, but also to respond to some high-risk cases. Their amazing work has helped over 6,000 community members across the various and numerous programs.
But even with all these incredible services reaching thousands, the reality is that the demand for help is much greater than what's available, especially for children. When kids witness or experience violence at home and don't get support early, trauma follows them for years, limiting their lives in ways many would never understand.
A woman right here in the Cowichan Valley grew up witnessing and experiencing violence from a young age. The fear consumed her so much that she isolated herself, limiting her time outside the house.
It wasn't until her late 50s, after decades of C-WAVE's amazing therapy, that she finally felt supported enough to go out alone. The simple act of walking to a coffee shop by herself was a major victory for her.
Her story is truly heartbreaking because it shows how childhood trauma can lead to lifelong isolation, anxiety, and struggle. But this can change for the children in our valley today, because every intervention can change and stop the cycle before it reaches another generation. And that's why PEACE program is so important. PEACE offers confidential counseling specifically for children of youth ages 4 to 18 who have witnessed or suffered violence at home.
In individual or group sessions, kids get a safe space to process their emotions, talk about what happened, build self-confidence, and understand they're not to blame or responsible.
The PEACE program gives kids the important tools they need to heal early. But unfortunately, this program has a long waiting list of children not getting the help they need. But imagine if we could shorten these wait lists, open up more spots, and reach more kids before it's too late. That's exactly what this grant would do. The money would go straight to the kids to prevent the cycle from continuing.
We saw in their values that C-WAVE was a light in the darkness for so many people, and their mission truly connected with us. But we also wanted to learn more about the significant problem to become more than just bystanders.
No longer do we want to ignore this problem. We want to be a part of the solution. With this grant, we can shorten waitlists and give many more children a chance at a healthy life. We invite you to join us, not only with this grant, but by raising awareness of all of their amazing programs.
We'd also like to end by mentioning another way that you can support what C-Wave does. By following some of their social media, we've put one up there on the board, it actually provides crucial awareness in our community. And by one more person knowing about what C-Wave has to offer and what they do in the community, it could save lives.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the presenters. It is truly amazing to learn about all the hard work our community does. We would also like to take a moment to thank everyone who helped bring this event together. The lovely meta teachers, the IT department, judges, students, and of course, our amazing kitchen staff who have baked us delicious cookies.
We will now have a short break while the judges discuss. Please feel free to enjoy some juice, cookies, and make an effort to chat with our visitors.
So, Mr. Charlie.
Oh, it's right here.